everybody. This is Lisa, a proud owner of Body Soul Personal Training. Welcome back to our program, The Inner Life of Fitness, where we share stories to inspire you to help ignite your inner and outer strength. Today's guest, I feel, has a contagious smile and a warm soul, and he truly believes that exercise is medicine, to the point that he's actually created a t-shirt that says exercise is medicine, which is really cool. So welcome to the show, my friend, Terry Rajsombath. Welcome,
Hey,
Terry.
Lisa. Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. So Terry and I go way back, but I want to share with our viewers, Terry, a little bit of some highlights. And I know that you're on social media a lot, so they may or may not know a lot of this, but our viewers may not. You graduated from Johnston Senior High. You're a first generation because your family are Laotian, right?
Yeah, Laotian. Yep.
Laotian, yes. You served in the military, the Army National Guard, and you're still in the military as well. And we'll talk about that. You're a successful entrepreneur, and I've been lucky enough to be with you and not be with you, but see that grow. You've done products like Rhode Island Original, Help Portrait Rhode Island, and we'll get into those stories. You're an amazing photographer, very humble about it. You're a YouTuber. You're also recently a new author of 3 short story books and going to be writing more. Terry's a big fan. Ed, if you can pull up this picture. So Terry says he's a big fan of writing down his goals and his dreams, and anything he might forget, which, he says that there's a lot of things he says. And he also, Terry has a beautiful doggie. I know you probably don't want to grab her, but I know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's show our viewers.
Gabby. She's
Gabby.
kind of ugly, which makes her cute.
Hi, Gabby. So Terry, I'd like to talk and see if you'd like to share with our listeners, your story. You served for in the war, and I thank you for your service, and I thank you for your continued service. A lot of our viewers may not know that you were critically injured in 2009. You were in the middle of the war zone. You want to share that story with our viewers?
Yeah, I mean it's a super long story, so I don't want to condense it super briefly. But basically, I was caught in an ambush. I was on patrol in my unit, and I was pretty much in the middle of the kill zone. Me being a machine gunner at the time, my job was to suppress the enemy as much as possible, and which will allow my guys to maneuver. So I was trying to be proactive, and I tried moving towards the shooters, because that's what we're trained to do. We're trained to instead of run, actually move towards the firing so we could end it. I ended up on top of a mountain, and I was shot. I couldn't get down from the mountain, so I was separated from my guys, and so I honestly thought I was going to die, but without even thinking of it, I threw myself off the mountain. I got myself close enough to my guys where they eventually found me and got me to safety.
So you threw yourself off a mountain. Where were you shot?
I was shot in so I was on my knee shooting, if you could imagine being on the knee, and the round entered my left glute, so pretty much in the center of my left glute, and it traveled into my thigh. And when it went into my thigh, it hit my bone and exploded. So the bullet essentially became a mini grenade, and as it exploded, it tore my muscles and it took a chunk of my hip out. So I wasn't able to get up and walk at all.
Wow. That is it still is a very powerful story. I'm glad that you're here to share this story and what you have done with your life since then. So how long was your recovery? And I'd like you to talk about, not only did you recover, they said after your recovery, Ed, if we can go to another one of Terry's pictures right there in the recovery, and you're a recipient of the Purple Heart, well-deserved. How long was your recovery? And didn't they tell you that you're not able to run, and then you said, okay, I'm going to do an Ironman? Is that true?
Yeah. So I was at Walter Reed Army Hospital for 10 months. I underwent 12 surgeries, and during that process, one of the physical the rehab nurses I was working with, we were pretty close, and he told me that some of the doctors, they were asking, what my plans were, and I had told them, oh, I'm going to do an Ironman. And when they had their group meetings, one of them rolled their eyes and scoffed. And when I heard that, that got me really angry. So I was told that I'd never be able to run again, and it's not an issue of because of will and determination. It's more because of the fact that I'm missing a chunk of my femoral head, and eventually I'm going to need a new hip. So when you're talking about hip replacements, usually if you were 50 to 60 years old, even the doctors would consider that person a young prospect. They would tell that person to try to hold off as long as possible. At the time, I had just turned 24. So the idea of putting a new hip in me is just not a good idea, because every time you get a new hip, the new replacement has to get bigger and bigger to fill in the gap. And that means you can only get so many hips. So at the time, the shelf life or the use life of a new hip, they estimate 15 to 20 years. And that's if you are like 65.
Wow.
I was obviously 24 at the time, so they're guessing I'd wear it down within 5 years. And because of that, they would want me to keep my current hip for as long as possible. So they advised me to never run, or else I'm going to quickly turn that into chalk dust.
And you listened to them? Did you?
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
at the
really?
time, I really didn't understand it. I just thought
Yeah.
they thought I didn't have what it took to run.
Yeah.
And I'm partly, I'm sure some of that was me not understanding, but some of it was just because it was your cliche doctor, just kind of like bad bedside manners, just talking to you really quickly in and out. It took one doctor who really cared and really let me understand. It's not the fact that they don't believe I could. It's just that I shouldn't run. So after I understood that, I said, okay, got it. But I'm still gonna do an Ironman, and instead of running, I brought my crutches with me just in case my hip gave out, because sometimes it would do that. My hip would give out, and I would just be stuck frozen in place, and I wouldn't be able to move. So instead of running it, I walked as quickly as possible.
Wow. So Terry, I have to ask. I mean, not only did you do an Ironman, but wasn't this didn't you do a fundraiser? Did you raise money for this one?
Yeah. So at the time, it was. I mean, to be honest, I was so broke. I like doing charity, and I said, all right, if I did the Ironman on behalf of charity, they'd knock $500 off of my entry fee ticket, because the entry fee is like the ticket itself is like 800 $900, and the nonprofit, they give you there's a handful of nonprofits to choose from to help raise money for. It was called the Children's Tumor Foundation, and I just felt like that was a good fit for me. I don't know what it is. I read what it was about, and I just wanted to help, so I chose that foundation.
And
And
how much money did you raise?
with a large help of my friend Brian Lafucci and Peter Lawrence, them and their team helped me raise $5,000. Me on my own, I would have raised only $1,000, but if it wasn't for them, I would have been able to raise that $5,000. It would all have been charged my credit card.
But it's all, so I want to ask, where did you get this? Where did you get this never give up attitude? It almost seems like, as you're sharing your stories to me, it's almost like, well, doesn't everybody do this? What, doesn't everybody, like, why is that doctor saying that? Were you always like that since you were a kid? And you said you're first generation. Your parents are from what part of Laosia?
Laos.
Laos. Okay.
Laos, yeah.
So were you always like this as a kid, or is this just something that has ignited in you?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think I've always had some sort of I've just been always like just stupidly optimistic. I always knew, like, if someone else can do it, then I can do it too. And if it's something I like, I just go full force, 100%.
Yeah, so I want to dig a little bit deeper into Terry, because most people who get shot are in a war zone. You're still serving in the military currently, correct? You're still giving your time, and most people would probably say, Terry, thank you for your service. We understand. But yet, no, I'm going to put myself back out there, and you're a photographer, correct? And you still do other parts of the National Guards. But And most people would be like, you know, I have trauma, I can't move on. But no, not you. So you did an Ironman, and then you said entrepreneur. You continue to give back. So you started this couple of organizations. One is Rhode Island Original, and I'm wearing one of your products. And I remembered you sharing this pitch. You also do help Portrait Rhode Island. Tell us a little bit about Body Soul. Tell us a little bit about Rhode Island Original and why you started it and what it's all about.
So Rhode Island Original is a Rhode Island-based clothing apparel company. My buddy Alex at the time, he wanted to start a t-shirt company, and we are just hanging out, having some drinks, waiting for The Walking Dead to play. And he was telling me about the t-shirt company he was trying to start and why it wasn't working, how he was going to give up. You know, me being super optimistic, I just kept pitching ideas of what he could do to make it work. And then I was thinking to myself, well, you know, I've got nothing going on. I think we can make this happen if we just, you know, put our heads together. And it was supposed to be like a fitness brand, and I thought before we jump into this fitness brand, let's get our feet wet and try to figure out, the apparel industry, the textile industry, and printing industry. And I've always wanted a cool round T-shirt. I remember before deploying, I wanted to find a round T-shirt. I just didn't know where to go, so I said, all right, let's just start with a round T-shirt. You know, just make one T-shirt, sell some T-shirts, and go from there, and then move on to the fitness stuff. And it just, like I said, I just go 100% everything I do, and Rhode Island Original became its own thing.
So, but tell me a little bit more about Rhode Island Original. Don't you help kids who normally can't afford? Like, isn't this also give back? So, a portion of the proceeds, you actually give scholarships, or you give free personal training to teenagers who can't afford it.
Yeah, I mean, so the idea is we take a percentage, 10% from net profit, and we help subsidize personal training for kids. Ideally, we'd like to do it for everyone, but we want to focus on kids for now because we think 10-year-olds or 20-year-olds really quickly, and being in the gym just sets you up with so many skills where it can transition to you as a better adult and a better citizen and just a better person all around. But to be honest, I mean, the idea is to take 10%, but I started the business not knowing anything about business. I didn't even think I liked business, truthfully. I didn't think I liked business, really. I always thought business was kind of like smoke and mirrors and stuff. So jumping in, I'm still learning. The business hasn't been completely cash flow positive. So when I did sponsor kids, it was out of pocket. So as of now, we're not running full force and doing things and sponsoring kids as I'd like. Well, that is the goal we'd like to get back to. I just have to figure out, becoming more financially fit and efficient, and then we'll get there.
Yeah, well, maybe, have our viewers listening will help you get there. And how many people have, I know one of them actually was, we were honored to work with one of your young, participants who you donated to, and she was a sweetheart. She worked with one of our trainers for a long time. So, great work with that. Pre-COVID, you also, and I hope you're going to do it again. What inspired and what is Help Portrait RI?
So Help Portrait itself is a nonprofit started by a pretty popular, talented photographer. It's an organization where local photographers, hairstylists, makeup artists, and they get together, and before Christmas, they give away a free professional portrait to family members. So it's completely free. It's you walk off the street, you take a nice photo of your family, and we print it out on site, and we say Happy Holidays. And I just started one for Rhode Island. I think there was one done prior to me, maybe once or twice, but it's and then I just kind of started my own Help Portrait Rhode Island, and we've done 3 since.
So what inspired? I want our viewers to really, I want to know, you didn't have to do this. You're giving back to the community, and I know I've seen so many happy faces, and we can see the pictures in there. I mean, you made these people feel special, the kids and the moms and the dads, and and you gave them a family portrait that they may not have been able to have. What ignited that? What made you say, I want to do this, and then work hard? Because that's a big undertaking. I mean, from someone who's done events, I mean, it's a big undertaking.
Yeah. So what started was I myself wanted to do this. Wanted to start a help portrait. I think right after my first Ironman. I like I said, my mind's always thinking of fun new projects and goals. But I was so burnt out after the Ironman because trying to raise the $5,000 for Ironman, I put it off. And I like I said, if something's in the back of my mind, I can't quit. So eventually, when I was doing Rhode Island Original, I was trying to think of how do we generate exposure. I was like, I saw a way to leverage both opportunities where I can circle back and do the help portrait also while raising awareness for Rhode Island Original. So it wasn't like, I didn't want to spam people. So I called Rhode Island Original one of the sponsors, and essentially it was just myself and Alex and a few other people we worked with, including you. And we got together and we got to create something really awesome for the community, give back while helping, promote ourselves at the same time.
See, this is why, and you always laugh whenever I say, because you make me beam, because you're just like, what? You're just like, okay. I just think you're a beautiful soul, and the world's a better place because of people like you. So very grateful that you're still here. I want to talk about you're a new author of the 3 short story books. I know it's near and dear to your heart, and you're not doing it for money. Share a little bit, and I think we have some pictures from the book.
Okay, yeah. I mean, thanks for calling me an author. I mean, I guess technically that makes me an author, but yeah, I've written 3 small books, and they're not really books. They're like more like chapters. So one of my so my teammate who I deployed with, he was on my fire team, and most people wouldn't understand what a fire team means, but if you watch movies where they have like it's a cop movie, and you always see 2 police officers and they're riding on the cop car, and the film follows them throughout the movie. That's their team. There's just 2 of them ride around, and they've got each other's back. In a fire team, because I was an infantryman, in a fire team is generally 4 or 5 people, and it's just us. It's just us. We're really tight, and it gets even tighter within the fire team. So my buddy Holloway was my guy. He was always at. We were always hip and hip, and we literally went through war with each other. And stateside, he passed away. He got into some stupid altercation, some stupid street fight, and he passed away. He was murdered. So when I was at his funeral, and I was uh, I was thinking about his kids, and I just felt really sad for his kids because not only will his kids not have a father, but they won't know the kind of person he was as a soldier. They'll have stories about who their dad was and what kind of person he was, but they're not gonna know him as a soldier and be proud of their father of some of the amazing things he's done. And the only best person, aside from our team leader, to tell his story was me because I was with him constantly 24/7 through the thick of it. And so I thought, hey, listen, I'm going to create some kid stories and share some stories of his dad with his kids. And at the time, I didn't realize kids between 5 and 8 um, don't actually read. It's all pictures, and so I did some digging around to see how get some estimates on the cost, and it would essentially cost me pretty much $1,000 per book. So I decided to create these little books and just put them on Amazon. So if its family members wanted to buy it, then they could just purchase it. There's the cost you pay is just the fee Amazon charges to have it printed. I don't get any profit back at all.
Wow. Very powerful. I'm very sorry for your loss. And again, you're another selfless move. These children without a dad, or thanks to you, are gonna know their story. And these short books out there, this people can buy on Amazon. Will help another child who has maybe lost somebody, and they'll relate to the story. And then maybe it'll ignite, another soldier to share their story with that child. So you're an amazing human being. I know I keep saying it. I have to ask for our viewers, what advice would you give to our viewers? Just with life and moving forward, and what's your philosophy? If we were sitting there and I was your kid, what advice would you give me in life?
That's funny. So I just started a new job. Yeah, during the day, full time, I work as a public affairs specialist for the National Guard, and at nighttime, I work as a dishwasher. So, as a dishwasher, I'm working with these like 16-year-old high school kids, and they're always talking. And I try not to give unsolicited advice because no one wants to hear it. But I try to like give little hints, and I say just do things, just experience, just live life, just do things. I mean, some of them were saying, "Oh, I don't even know if I want to go to college," and I was like, that's fine. Just experience life because you just don't know what you don't know even about yourself because you're so young. When I was 16, I thought photography was stupid. I just wasn't interested. And when I saw as a 16-year-old through the eyes of myself as a 16-year-old, I just thought you had to be like kind of this artsy, farty, beret wearing person. And it just seemed so dumb taking photos of people going down the runways and stuff. And then one day I just decided to take a photography workshop. No, no. One day we were partying so much when I was younger that we were kind of like drinking too much and blacking out. I would take photography, those little Kodak cameras, the ones you would roll up, and I'd leave around the house, and then I'd get them produced the next day, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is kind of fun." And then I did some traveling, and I grabbed a random camera from my father and started taking pictures on my travels, and I thought that was really cool. So after that experience, I was like, you know what? Let me sign up for a photography workshop. And after the workshop, I got really hooked, and I really fell in love with photography. And taking people's portraits, it's more than just hitting a button. You really have to get your subject comfortable. You really have to understand your subject. You really have to understand how to express that person and make them comfortable into 4x6. And from then on, I've traveled the world taking photos. I've won awards. And not to toot my own horn, but like I've I've won second place and first place in the National Guard for a photographer, not just in Rhode Island, but the entire National Guard for the Army and Air Force. I've taken photos that were on covers of magazines, and ask me when I was 16, photography would not have been on my radar.
Wow, that is so cool. And you're not even 30 yet, right?
No, I am. So yeah, I'm actually 34.
Oh my gosh. And I know you do great work because I've actually hired you to do work for my company. You've done the headshots that are on my website, and you did my promotion video. So I can attest how amazing you are. But it's mind blowing. And again, you're like, oh yeah, so everything we just talked about, Terry, isn't even your full time job. You're like, yeah, I work full time for the Army, and I'm a dishwasher at night. Wow. You're just yeah. I dropped the mic. I can say no more. Very humble. What's the future for Terry? What are your plans for your future? What's next?
Sounds so cliche, but I'm just trying to find a way to become financially wealthy. It's funny because maybe just 4 years ago, I think a buddy of mine told me that I was allergic to money because I was just never interested in making money. With my skills, he said, you could do this, you could do weddings, you make a lot of money. And at the time, I really hated the idea of business. Again, I just didn't know myself well enough. Now I love learning about business and stocks and all that. I'm really trying to become wealthy, and that's not because like I want to buy a yacht and things like that nature. I just want to live a life where I can do exactly what I want, experience the things I want without being restricted. And largely that just comes down to money. So that's money is the strongest asset. And I'm just trying to figure out a system, which is essentially a business, and how to become financially wealthy and live my life how I want to live it.
Well, I hope you do get wealthy because of everything
Thanks.
that you've been doing. You haven't been wealthy, and you've already positively impacted so many lives that I feel if you had money, you would be making even more of a difference in this world. I mean, I personally know you, and I believe our viewers now are like they would agree with me. Absolutely. Terry, I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank you for sharing your story. I wish you nothing but the best. Ed, do we have a picture of him? And thank you for wearing my Body Soul shirt. Do we have a picture of him with my Body Soul shirt with the camera? Right there. So Ed also helped out with Alyssa's event, spinal muscular atrophy, and donated his time and did amazing work for that golf tournament. Remember?
Yeah.
And then you sent me that, and you could be a model too. But you took that picture, right? The one with you to the right?
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Terry. I absolutely adore you. You always bring a smile to my face. And I thank you for joining our viewers today and sharing your story.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. Take care. I want to thank all my viewers for joining us today. I want to wish you light and love. And if anybody out there has an inspiring story that you feel will ignite and help someone else, email me at lisa@bodysoultraining.com. If you're interested in Terry's products, follow him on Facebook. He's Rhode Island Original on Facebook, Rhode Island Original on Instagram. He's very humble. He wasn't even promoting himself. But you can buy cool Rhode Island swag, Rhode Island Original, and help us kind of get some more training sessions. Remember, you want to take life one day at a time. You want to move more, drink more water, and breathe. And join us next Tuesday for another inspiring story on the inner life of fitness. Thank you, everybody. God bless.